You see my screen okay? It's coming through right now. I'll make sure, and then I'll play some music as people kind of collect.
Yeah, looks good to me. Yeah, looks good to me. Yeah, looks good to me. Yeah, looks good to me.
All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Golf Bag live stream special Showdown edition. Talking some Wells Fargo round 2 Showdown. I was chatting with Jacob earlier. I think a lot of certain people got ejected pretty quickly with Sam Burns going out. I think birdieing 1 and he might have birdied 2 as well, but he was tied for the lead after 2 holes and then quickly fell apart and then ended up withdrawing. And then I saw late that JB Holmes withdrew. So I figured Jacob was pretty excited about some Showdown. I know I'm always excited about some Showdown using some of our tools, so I figured this was a good opportunity to kind of break down our round 2 thoughts and see if we can build somewhat of a player pool for us to target for tomorrow for round 2. So I'll bring in Jacob. Jacob, man, I'm sure you're like me. I wouldn't say a ton of Sam Burns, but definitely enough. And honestly, a guy getting hurt that far down. Oh, you didn't have any? That's good. So I'm not too concerned with it, man. I got a couple lineups that look pretty good on FanDuel. One actually crept up. I had Damon in my single entry, so that helps. But it also had Sam Burns, so it has a very, very short ceiling. But how's everything else going for you, man?
It's good, as well as it can be here, chilling at work. But did not get hit on the Burns. trouble. However,
Everyone
Harold
else.
Varner played the entire round and got less points than Burns.
And
So,
he didn't even withdraw. I figured he had to be headed out somewhere.
I
That
mean,
was
what
brutal.
a terrible start for him. But I know, I think you had mentioned, I think it was Burns you had mentioned, he was like T1 and then was like almost dead last. And then I guess that's, part of why he pulled out apparently was an injury. But
It seems strange.
yeah.
Like I didn't watch early on, but for him to be tied for the lead, and tied for the lead after one hole is not saying much. But obviously birdieing the first hole, birdie or parring number two, so like playing decent, and then to go into that stretch and then claim he had a hurt back. I don't think he's lying. I mean, that seems pretty drastic for him to go that crazy.
Hmm.
H3 Buddha, Mr. Mike Brown, going on that FanDuel heater. He says it burns when he pees.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It can burn more if that's what the result is, tipping like that.
We can fix that. So I'll actually hop over here real quick and just look at some guys as far as ownership, and then we'll get into actually the Showdown slate. But just talking about ownership, I thought it was kind of interesting. So I'll pull that up really quick. Yeah, Dr. Phil. So just looking at Burns real fast, you can see he was about 10%, 10% in the $5. He was 18% in the 444, 15% in the 44. So when you see that 20% in the 2000, and you played Sam Burns, regardless of what happens, your process was probably close to being correct. Like I wouldn't fault you for playing Sam Burns and he happened to withdraw and hurt his back, whatever. Like we didn't have that information. So had this been like 2% Sam Burns in the 2000 and like 4% in the 444, then I would probably have taken a step back and say, wow, a lot of people were talking about Sam Burns. I was one of them. Maybe I saw something that I should have saw, negative. So keep that in mind too when you get burned by a Sam Burns, pardon the pun. Look a little bit deeper than just, oh wow, he shot 80 and really sucks. Was he a good play outside of what you just saw? So this is a free tool at Fantasy Labs. If you go to fantasylabs.com, they actually have some really nice free tools as well. So you can use this and see ownership as it's spread out. Obviously, Rory was pretty popular. Jason Day. If you played Jason Day over Rory, you have a lot of leverage, even though Rory came out killing it today. But a really good tool. I was doing this on a couple streams probably a month and a half ago when we were in the Florida Swing. I would do this in the morning. There you go. Tony Finau, 40% and 50% in the $2,000. So, yeah.
There's a lot of people cussing him when he was 4 over, probably.
What did he end up? I didn't even see. We'll
He
probably look at it
finished
here in a second.
3 birdies out of the last 5 at 1.
So he's
plus
at
one.
1 over?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make the cut, man. Look at that, Gary
Oh,
Woodland.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So don't be tapping. Something it's the mic sensitive or something.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. I'm sure it was giving someone else a headache too, not just my earphones. About 15% of the lineups with Rory also had Burns. Yeah. So, and that kind of happened, right? Like 11-8 Rory, you had to pair him with someone cheap, and Sam was some guy that had popped recently, obviously playing well in his last couple events, and seems to have the profile for this golf course. Kind of a bomber, can go on some birdie streaks, really cheap. So, kind of made sense. And I'm not going to go through the whole field, but I didn't even look at this earlier. I didn't have time. But yeah, Kokrak came in a little bit lower probably than what some people thought. 23%, 21%. Yeah. Aaron Wise was up there. So there you go. Aaron Wise, 30% in the 2000. If you're on Wise and maybe thought he was going to get too chalky, 12% in the $5, pretty good leverage if you were, 20 or 30% on the field. So, all right, let's transition to some Showdown. I know these guys are interested in what we have to talk about for that. So what we're gonna do, guys, is we'll briefly touch on the weather real quick. I don't think there's anything to talk about, but I did want to bring it up during the show. And then we'll talk through our thoughts for the Showdown slate and guys, and we'll use some of our tools on the website, again, that are completely free. We have a premium custom model that you can also use, but I'm going to show you the free tool that we have. It shows a lot of the same stuff, and it's very valuable. So let me go ahead and hop over to the weather real quick. We'll just take a quick peek at it. So Friday, starting at 8 a.m., 3 miles per hour, man. No wind at all. It's going to be 70 degrees in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then picks up to 6 to 7 miles per hour, 8 to 10. So, like, there's really nothing with weather that I can see. You have any thoughts on that? Because I don't see anything with weather. If anything, you can look at tee times, and for a showdown, it's not always bad if guys work together in a wave, just because it can be correlated from a weather standpoint, even if individual golfers never really correlate besides skill level, and that would be more for a full slate. So as far as weather goes, nothing that I see that, sticks out to me as like, yeah, AM, you really stack the AM, you'll get an advantage over the PM. I mean, I think PM will play just the same as the morning. If anything, unless you guys got some rain, you would know better than I would know. It seemed like the morning wave this morning had a little bit softer conditions, even though a lot of the lower rounds came in the afternoon. So, like I said, you can kind of stack an AM and a PM if you want to try to correlate, possibly if the weather's wrong, which happens quite a lot with just meteorology in general.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts around that at all? If not, we'll move on to the good stuff.
Yeah, so just a couple things. Now I'm in Boone, which is the mountains, and that's about an hour and 45 minutes northwest of Charlotte. And we had a pretty small band of thunderstorms come through and sort of quick, like almost flash flood, like really heavy rain, some little bit of hail in there also. And I don't know how far that band made it down. I didn't watch any of the coverage today, so I didn't see if it was like cloudy or there were any pop-up showers down there. But I had also seen some comments on social media today that it looked like it was drying out pretty quick from the damp morning. And if that's the case, then these greens are going to get, more firm as we progress through. Wind's not supposed to pick up that much. I don't think it's...
You guys get weird wind at night, man. It's 20 mile per hour gusts at 2 a.m. yesterday, 2 a.m. tonight.
Yeah.
That's nuts. And then no wind during the day. Weird.
But
yeah, I don't see much as far as weather goes, so...
Yeah, the only thing I would say is if there were like a pop-up shower during the night, it might put a little moisture on it, but it's going to burn off pretty fast in the morning with it being like 70 degrees down there right when they tee off the first time. So
yeah, I'm not too concerned.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty negligible. I just say roll with who you like, and if the numbers fit and you can fit them in a lineup, then go for it.
Sweet. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and transition into the actual showdown segment. So to get to the tool, we have several on the website, so I'll switch over to our homepage. So once you're logged in, obviously you get all this content on the front and the different tabs. So you can access it through the FGB Tools tab. There'll be one for Showdown Model, and then there'll be one for Live Strokes Gained here. You can also do it in the drop-down. Over on the right, you'll see Live Strokes Gained, and it says free. The premium one is Custom Showdown Models, which allows you to weight stats, create some custom filters there. So we'll go ahead and just click Live Strokes Gained, free version, and we'll dive into some guys and talk through some thoughts for DraftKings. So you'll be presented with this screen here. Obviously, gives you the field, the tournament, and gives you round by round. Obviously, we only have one round right now, and this updates every 5 minutes. So if you're really, really excited about checking Rory McIlroy strokes gained putting tomorrow, you can check this throughout the day. So one of the common themes, just from a strategy standpoint, with Showdown is targeting guys that putted poorly that day, and you're trying to target them for like a bounce back the next day. So we provide two different aspects looking at stats. We have the strokes gained, obviously, so all of your key strokes gained stats, and then we have the traditional, which talks you through driving distance, fairways, green regulation, and putts per round. So one graphic I wanted to pull up before we really dive into some guys that stand out to us with some high green regulation numbers and high putts. Obviously, Joel Damon played extremely well today, but he deserved it. I mean, 92% fairways, 83% green regulation, 29 putts. it's really not that many putts hitting 83% of the greens. So I just want to pull up this graphic real quick to kind of give you a higher level look at why we target the putting splits when it goes round to round. Just because golf's so variable, everyone knows about the variability and the variance week to week. But you can see here, last year, Phil Mickelson led the tour putting average. This is total putts per round, 27. So anytime you see a guy that, he came out, so like Rory had 25 putts today, that's not necessarily a red flag, but like he probably hit his ceiling for how he played tee to green today. So anytime you see like 27 putts and down, that's usually a clear stay away for me personally. There's not a lot of upside besides like a Brian Gay who somehow just cranks out 25 putts around, seems like, when he gets hot every week. And then you can see there at the bottom of this graphic, tour average is 29.18. So anything above 29 putts is usually a green light for me. So I can make an argument for guys around 28 putts, 27 putts if their tee to green stats look good. But if you're talking about guys, so we'll just sort here by putts per round and we'll go highest to lowest. 35 putts, 34 putts, that's above my threshold. Now you do the homework of checking their green and regulation stats, checking their strokes gain stats, and seeing which ones of these tie out. So a lot of times guys that had a lot of putts also missed a lot of greens. Like Johnson Wagner shot 8 over, had 33 putts. He only hit 38% of the greens. Obviously, you don't want to target that. So I did want to bring up, I'm showing you a different screen. I'm a terrific host already. Sorry.
You're good.
So I just filtered here by highest putts first, and you can see here talking about Johnson Wagner shot 8 over with 33 putts, and obviously anything over 30 putts is something that interests me. But 38% green and regulation, 35% fairways obviously is not something you want to target. Guys like Brendan Steele, 71%, 77%, 34 putts. A case could be made that maybe he's going to have 34 putts or 32 putts again tomorrow because he just can't putt these greens very well. But if you're going to try to win a GPP, taking a guy that's not, didn't really play that great. Like 1 over isn't awful, but it's not great. I don't think he's on anyone's radar. 34 putts, if he just, cuts it down to 30, he shoots 3 under. I'll probably take 3 under tomorrow.
Yeah.
From 6,700. And then we also have DraftKings up. So we'll actually build like a little sample lineup as we kind of talk through some of these guys and see if it can help you. Obviously, probably don't want to use the lineup that I build. It's probably not going to be good anyways. But yeah, we'll walk you through some guys that we really like and see if we can build out a lineup that looks decent for tomorrow. Orange Man, I'm sure, will play it, which is fine. All in on this lineup. Yeah, it'll probably take it all. The one time I share it, we'll have like an 18-man split.
Oh, yeah, like a FGB chop.
All right, so first things first, obviously with the custom model that we have that's for premium members, you can customize this and you can quickly create a model that shows just the guys that fall into categories you're looking to target. If it's high strokes putting, losing strokes putting, that's another thing you can look at, losing strokes putting on the green, and then looking at guys that are gaining strokes on approach and off the tee, etc. So I don't know about you, Jacob, but like first thing for me is I want to see guys that are like gaining the most on approach. So first, right off the bat, obviously guys that are hitting their irons well, hitting a lot of greens and fairly close is something that you want to target. So as you can see, no surprise here, and it's going to update, like I said, every 5 minutes, even though they're not playing perfect. So let me reset this to approach. Rory McIlroy obviously leading your boy Paul Casey. Started off great again, and then he came back. So good for him.
But he bogeyed 10 to start it. I was like, really? And then he
bogeyed 11 too, I think.
He birdied 11, bogeyed 10,
okay.
birdied 11. And then he had a really good round. But, as you can see there, not to cut in on you, but I do the exact same thing when I start with Showdown. Some reason I just always gravitate toward approach, and I filter, from highest to the lowest. And then as I'm scrolling down,
you look at a guy like Trey Mullinax.
Yeah, so I look over to putting, and I'm looking for negative putting numbers as I scroll down.
Yeah, Phil Mickelson there
on my approach column. Yeah.
Yeah, so like there's certainly a little bit of an art to it if you're using the free version, because you have to sort one of these at a time, and then you're trying to eyeball. Like for me, I right clicked. For me, Phil Mickelson lost strokes off the tee, lost strokes putting. The off the tee, like it would be a pass for me on him right now. We can go look at his traditional stats as well to see if maybe he hit a lot of fairways. Maybe he just wasn't hitting a lot of drivers for some reason. That's why he lost strokes off the tee. Because again, remember, there's two edges to the off the tee. There's distance that's remaining to the hole and accuracy. So if you're laying back off the tee, you're going to have less strokes gained off the tee. So we can use traditional for that.
So Phil only hit 35% of his fairways, but he hit 72% of his greens.
Yeah, the fairways thing scares me. So he would not be in my player pool. So not to keep these guys terribly long, let's go ahead and start trying to build out a lineup. And we'll just glance real quickly at pricing. Hopefully this is big enough for the screen. He only hit driver today. Makes sense. What was his driving distance? I'm curious now.
You talking about Phil?
Yeah, I was going to jump over there.
315.
Yeah. So, and again, this is strictly driving accuracy. It doesn't, incorporate if he, missed a fairway by 2 yards, which he certainly could have on a few of those. But
yeah, and this might be, I'd seen something else just real quick where he was trying out a new shaft in the Epic Flash.
Yeah, I saw.
And he had moved off of that driver and said he wasn't going back to it. So
I got one guy right off the bat, and we can check his pricing here. Obviously, Rory 10.5 is most expensive. We have Fowler. Mostly similar pricing to what we saw for the full slate. Maybe $300 cheaper for most guys versus what they were. Pinon's actually more expensive than what he was. Sweet. Okay. So I already see one guy that I want to talk to you about that I see that I think could make my lineup. That's Mr. Jason Kokrak. He shot 1 under today. Had 32 putts, so basically 2 putts per green he hit. That's about neutral, honestly. 88% of greens, 78% of fairways. I like that quite a bit. And then I'm going to check his strokes gain real quick to see if that can confirm how he played. And yes, so Kokrak gained 1.7 strokes on approach, 2 strokes off the tee, and lost half a stroke putting. I am, depending on his price, which I assume he's in the 8Ks, I think Kokrak's a pretty good candidate for round 2 showdown tomorrow.
Kokrak is 9,100.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
more than Phil and Paul Casey.
Well, I like him. I'm going to throw him in for now. If we need to save money somewhere or pivot down, we'll do it. So I'm going to add Kokrak for right now. I like where his game's been at, and I have a feeling he's going to be less owned, especially at 9,100. Like, your first instinct was that's too expensive.
That might be everybody's instinct.
Exactly. So I like his stats. He's been playing so good. So if like today was a mediocre round, then he's due for a good round tomorrow. Kokrak swings a huge stick. I don't know if that's an innuendo or what. I think, I like Kokrak. So I'm going to do the same thing I did for finding Kokrak. Again, I sorted by green regulation, highest to lowest first, and kind of eyeballing putts. And then we can hop over to confirm in strokes gain. And then shout out to Orange Man just a bit ago. He said he has not been having any trouble with Showdown, even though he tilts and slack nonstop. The guy's just
when he cashes.
He's just crushing it.
Yeah.
All right.
Green screens in Tilton.
We got Joel Damon there. So Joel Damon scares me a little bit from an ownership perspective. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to give that a shout. I have horse players still here. H3 Buddha donated $10 again. Thanks, Mike. He says Roadster and game winner boxed in the Kentucky Derby. Print money. Horse player is our resident horse expert, so maybe he can cut Mike some slack there. Nick's in the chat. Thank you, Nick. He also donated $10.
Man.
He says he's a Showdown fish. Thank you for the stream. Happy to help, man. Hopefully we can split first place tomorrow, 20 ways.
I like it.
Or probably just pivot off one guy that I'm going to play that's going to shoot 74. But again, so let's continue down. Horse player says maybe so. Anyone that stuck out to you when you were researching earlier, so I don't completely take us off the rails talking about horses?
Yeah, no. So two guys that stood out to me when I was looking. The first was Streelman.
Streelman, all right.
80% green in regulation. His fairways weren't great. 57%. 33 putts, and his...
Wow, he gained 3 strokes tee to green. Lost a little around the green, so basically 3 strokes ball striking. And then lost 2 strokes putting.
Yeah, a little over 2 strokes on approach and a little under 2 strokes putting. So, and let me just check his price really quick. He is $7,300. So I can get behind some Streelman for sure.
I'm gonna look at something too. So he's not awful. So we get a sheet that we're working on right now. It gives us our strokes gained for the last couple of years for each round and split out. So he's like right in the middle. He's probably in the lower quadrant. So I like to look at that just as a reference. But again, you're focusing on the one event. So yeah, I'll add Streelman. That'll give us some salary savings. Let's go ahead and throw him into this lineup. And so now we're left with 8,400 average. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's nice.
You said you had 2. So what was your other guy you were eyeballing?
So my other guy, and you're not going to like this one,
okay.
but Nick Watney.
Okay.
Just bear with me for a second. Nick Watney, he gained over 2 strokes on approach. Didn't putt terribly. Lost a little less than, maybe like a quarter of a stroke putting. But I think he had some good. Let me just double check his.
I'll pull it up. Traditional.
77% green in regulation, 31 putts. Fairways, that one, I didn't see the fairways when I looked at it last time. That's might push me off him a little bit. It's not terrible, not great, but...
yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not playing. I'm not putting Nick Watney. I don't care if this is for $1. Sorry, you can blow your own dollar on this one.
I mentioned Nick Watney. I think last night
on the podcast,
or is either podcast or last night.
Yeah.
Might have been both. And then my man was up there at 2 or 3 under for a little bit.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
He not here.
Okay.
So looking
Red's not going to play him. You guys can if you want.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at something real quick. So yeah, what did I say? Kokrak lost 2 strokes putting.
Yeah.
So in the last 5 events, he's averaged 1.7 strokes gained putting. So that's pretty good regression if he can just get back to 0 basically off of today. And then Streelman is at 0.3 the last couple of events. So not awful. I just wanted to confirm kind of where he stood. But yeah, I'll move past Watney. He's not going to be making my lineup, buddy.
So what you're looking at is their sort of their baseline stats.
Well, just for sake of this, yeah. I mean, like, honestly, I wouldn't even have gotten to Streelman yet. So while you're talking about him, I just want to bring him up.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Appreciate Mike turning the chat into talking about the Kentucky Derby. That's terrific. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone, making money left and right. And then horse player staying true to DFS golf. Appreciate that. Fratelli. You're fine, Mike. I'm just kidding, man.
Fratelli looked sharp today.
Oh, boy. I don't hate Fratelli, man. He just, the few times I do play him, he doesn't seem to do it. I mean, like, honestly, his results from the University of Texas, I thought by now he would have a PGA Tour win.
Yeah,
he would have, been in the FedEx Cup playoffs, stuff like that.
True.
How does he say his name? He says he loves how Pat says.
How do you say that name differently?
I don't know.
He had 29 putts. I wouldn't.
I'll look at his strokes gained for a second. Orange Man donated $10. Thanks, man. The bot must die. Good luck. Good luck killing the bot. Wow.
3.5 strokes on approach.
Yeah. So again,
Didn't putt great.
I didn't putt awful. I mean, 29 putts is like probably right in line. Like I would.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like 27 putts or anything. You know, he wasn't sinking everything.
Yeah. So on approach, I'm looking at. Whew, that's the highest he's had in a long time.
You think that's an outlier?
It seems that way. Let's see. He's 7,100, so a lot of salary there. Let's keep looking just so we can fill like a couple more spots, and then I'm sure at the end we'll be stuck on somebody we need to pivot to. So let's do. We'll stick with strokes gained this time. I didn't mention this, but the other tab here is scoring, which honestly you can look at bogeys, birdies if you really want to, but you know, sorting by the most birdies, maybe a guy had, you know, here you go, six birdies, 5 bogeys, Richie Wierenski. So some people would argue he has some upside. Let's take a peek at his stats. Like, that's a lot of birdies for a guy. No, he sucks. Just kidding. So, again, approach the green. We'll sort highest to lowest. Those are guys that typically played the best tee to green. Obviously, some expensive guys up at the top. Obviously, more Rory up there. We have Paul Casey, Sergio. I'm going to go down just a bit and see if I can get some guy in the mid-range that maybe can catch my eye.
Mid-range of approach or price for a Showdown?
Pricing, just the general. I don't know what the exact pricing is, but just trying to get an idea of someone that stands out to me. Like Keegan there, 2.14 strokes gained approach, 0.4 off the tee. Didn't lose a ton putting, but shot -1.
Yeah, he's 8,700.
Golly. All right. Anybody that stands out? Duffner.
Sergio is cheaper than Keegan. He's 8,600.
So Nick says Ches, so I'm assuming he means Ches Reavie. Ches Whiz. Cheese Whiz. So he lost 0.8 strokes on approach, gained 1.5 off the tee, which is really surprising for Ches Reavie. That's kind of mind-boggling. And
gained a stroke putting.
Gained just under a stroke putting, and then we'll look at his traditional real quick. 85, 72, 29 putts. I mean, he's probably cheap.
He's 78.
Yeah, to me, Nick, I wouldn't play Reavie. And honestly, for a guy, like he's averaging 295 off the tee. Most of these guys are around 318, 315. He got layered there at 290, which doesn't really make sense. He's a longer guy. I don't think he has a really low round in him. Like for 7,800, I don't think he has an upside to shoot 65 or 66 like we saw Rory and Damon shoot today. That'd be my opinion on him in general. Now, if his ball striking stats, like strokes gained stats, looked a little bit better and his putting was a little worse, I'd probably pull the trigger on that. But can't get behind. I don't see him going out and lighting it up with his player profile. This is the top leaderboard. Keith Mitchell. I saw Jason Duffner. Wow, Duffner. Let me look at Keith Mitchell real quick.
Oh, I'm already on his traditional if you want it.
I just glanced at it. So he gained 3 strokes on approach, 0.7 off the tee, and gained 1.5 putting. What's he priced at? He's 75. So like his stats don't pop out to me, but he's been playing so good. I would be willing to ride it. You know, obviously Keith Mitchell 7,500 versus Ches at 78.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to take a chance on Keith. You know, in position, he shot 300 today. Stats don't look bad. I mean, he gained strokes putting. Sorry, guys, I know I'm jumping around there. I probably would 29 putts per round, like right at the average for the tour. So I think Keith Mitchell is probably fine. 7,500, man.
Yeah, no, I like Keith Mitchell.
Let's take Keith Mitchell and throw him in here. And again, there's no placement points for these round 2, round 3 showdowns, so you're just trying to get a guy that pops for, 5, 6 under par, worst case 2 under par, 1 under par, even something like that, and you got a chance to win a GPP.
What's our remaining salary there?
8,700 per player. So, you mentioned Paul Casey. So let's go ahead and look at like the high end. You mentioned Casey. Obviously, ball striking stats are always good. Fairways, he hit 40%, 67% of greens. Honestly, I don't like that at all. And strokes gained approach, he gained 4, almost 4, which is a lot. I don't see it in Paul, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I actually like Sergio better.
Okay.
And he's cheaper. Sergio's 8,600.
Yeah.
And 30 putts, 72% greens, 57 fairways. He gained a crazy amount on approach too.
He did,
3.5.
That's kind of like his normal ball striking, man.
Yeah, but doesn't he? What's his putting baseline?
Probably what he did today. Shot 200. I'm fine with Casey or Sergio. Scoring wise, Sergio had 5 birdies, 3 bogeys, so pretty clean. We'll throw Sergio in there.
I just think Sergio at 8,600 is good value.
I think so.
I would have expected him to be higher. I mean, who did we say was 9,100? Kokrak's 9,100. I was just surprised of the price differentiation there.
Yeah, we'll throw Sergio in there for now. I mean, that's a pretty big name to get at 8,600, and obviously he's playing pretty good. It's just putting for him. I mean, we've been talking about him since the beginning of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And his ball striking stats have been basically in line with what you would expect every single week, and just hasn't put it together. One guy I was curious about because I just saw him on the leader or in the pricing was Ben On.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows about his ball striking stats. Did Nick end up playing Ben On? I think he was talking about maybe just skipping him. I didn't play Ben On, so
yeah, I
thought that was interesting. He lost 1 stroke on approach. He lost less strokes than he's been losing putting, so maybe he found something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No thanks on Ben On. I'm going to pull down the pricing a little bit. He has some. He can still make the cut. No problem with that.
Oh, what's he sitting at?
+1.
Oh, I mean, the cut's 1 right now.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's not like, he didn't shoot himself out of the tournament. Orange Man asked if Ass-Face Reed can keep it up. My gut tells me no, but we'll see. Yeah, so
Reed gained almost 3 strokes putting today.
He basically did gain 3 strokes putting. So I'm not going to spend any time on Reed. No thanks.
Yeah.
Orange Man, if he can keep putting like he did at Augusta last year, then he could keep it up. But otherwise, no. So looking down the pricing here, is there anybody that jumped out to you? I'm not sure if you saw low. Anybody that was like real cheap that might be mispriced? Like Matt Jones, I've been watching. Maybe we'll go look at him. He had a decent round today.
Hold on, I think I did have one guy that
I'll look at Matt Jones because I was watching him earlier. I think he got to like 3 under. Yeah, so gained about a stroke on approach, lost a little off the tee, and gained very little putting. Yeah, I don't see it with him either. His stats just look too mediocre. I mean, he could certainly turn around in one day, but let me go back to green regulation. I think we talked about him already, Orange Man. We might keep him in our back pocket if we need to play someone down there, but I wasn't on board the Fratelli train just yet. I wanted to see what else we got. I mean, Doc Redmond, I'm sure, is super cheap, and he had 83% of greens. He shot 1 under with 32 putts, and he lost strokes on approach. There you go. That's why you check both sides.
I'm not seeing a ton of low that are popping out to me.
Yeah, there's really Just scanning through here. I mean, we have enough salary. You could take a stab on a Mickelson to go out low. I mean, obviously he's played this event. He's got 7 top 5s in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's an angle there that one of these rounds, if like obviously you assume he's going to make the cut, one of these 4 days, so we'll say today was mediocre to shoot even.
Yeah.
He's going to go out and blister the field, man.
Well, what does the salary look like if you slot him in there?
I think you still have enough to get a good guy. I mean, relatively speaking, we don't have to fill the whole salary anyways, but might as well use it for an expensive guy. You have 8,500 left, so you basically can pick anybody.
Yeah.
So you got Aaron Wise there, Luke List up top. So let's just look straight from who lost the most strokes putting today, and see if they gained on approach. Like
JB Holmes.
Well, no, I actually shot a decent score.
Trey Mullinax. Lost 3.5 putting, gained 3 on approach. %66% green and regs, 31 putts.
Yeah. Okay, so Mullinax possibly.
And yeah, then, let's keep looking.
Yes, Charles Howe. Wow, Charles Howe, 21% of fairways.
We got
Papa Wolf says, isn't Kokrak's round 2 score? I don't know if he said this in the chat. His round 2 scoring rival Fleetwood, and this year maybe, but it's a small sample for just round 2s. Was using Phil's driver? He may have been. Aaron Wise as a guy, nope. So let's check Mullinax's price. And what really stinks is you have Damon down there, like.
Yeah, Mullinax is 7,300, I think. No, that was streaming.
77. So Mullinax has a better round 2 scoring average than Damon. Obviously, Damon's known for his first round leads. I would probably. Oh man, I mean it stands out for Mullinax. Statistically speaking, it's hard to count him out right there.
Yeah, it's
like
tough.
3.5 strokes lost putting. Like you'd be kicking yourself probably if he shot 66 tomorrow that you didn't play him. Like 4 strokes lost putting.
I know the only thing that's hard to get off of is you've got that salary there, and I know to differentiate a little bit, especially in Showdown where it's smaller pools, smaller entries, you're going to want to leave a little bit. And, you can be a little bit more liberal with how much you leave. But you got guys above him that you can still afford, like Wise, who had a decent round. I'm all for it. I think Mullinax is a good play.
Like if I was building several lineups,
yeah,
dude, I would immediately go down to like the low 6K range and look up guys that had really good rounds or like decent rounds with good stats and throw them in there, because most people, like we basically built a balanced lineup without even trying. And you don't there's really no right or wrong way in a Showdown lineup because there's no placement points. You're just honestly, you could pick 3 guys between 7,500 and 7,000, 6 guys, sorry, and that's your winning lineup because those guys shot the lowest round that day. Obviously, the better players tend to have better stats. That's why you pay up for them. So yeah, I think you'd be hard pressed to not play Mullinax with his stats looking the way they do. He shot +1 today. Most people, if they're not looking at this stuff, they won't see that. They'll just see a +1 and probably avoid it. But I mean, from top to bottom, besides like Joel Damon, he looks really good and awful in the green. So hopefully he can just
Yeah.
kind of continue that and turn that around. I mean, green regulation numbers a little down, but gaining a ton on approach is pretty impressive when you're losing so many putting. I think we just throw in Molinax, man. Leave the salary on the table. It seems like a lot, but for a showdown, it doesn't matter. I just need these guys all to shoot 3, 4, 5, 6 under par,
Yeah.
and you're in good shape. And
So what we got
looking through
there?
them, yeah, you have Kokrak, Streelman, Mitchell, Sergio, Mickelson, and Molinax. Honestly, Sergio is the one that I have the biggest question mark around because he's so mental, man. Like he'll as good as his stats are, then he complains about stupid stuff, and then he'll end up missing the cut. So there's enough salary there. If you guys are throwing in a few of these guys, you can pivot off of like a Garcia or a Molinax if you wanted to. And I mean, Garcia with 800, you could be up to.
You could get Charles Howell.
You get Charles Howell, Woodland, Simpson. We didn't even look at
800
Simpson.
more. What's that? Yeah, you get Webb. You get Matsu. It'd be right on the number though if you wanted Matsu.
Like Simpson doesn't look awful, but
Day putted well. He had like 28 putts, I think, but his he kind of stood out to me as one of those pricey ones that might not be terrible. He only gained a little less than 2 strokes on approach. Actually lost strokes putting, and 61% greens. I mean, he was kind of wayward, but still, his putter saved him today, even though he lost strokes at 26 putts.
I think we're good with this, man. Sergio.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I'm sure I'll tinker and add one more somewhere, probably several more. I'll throw this in a single entry as well, so don't go steal that.
Yeah.
Mike or Orange Man, he'll probably throw in the $12.
Oh, he said, let me screenshot this.
Don't tell anyone we're giving away lineups. I mean, if this wins, then I hope everyone wins some money. But technically, you're not supposed to give out lineups. But I figured this would be the best way, most entertaining way to build out a showdown lineup with looking through the pool, actually constructing it instead of just talking through guys. Talking through guys can get very boring, more or less. So, so definitely use this. Again, it's completely free. You can hop on here and sort this any way you want. Certainly keep in mind the difference between, putting, looking at guys that are losing strokes putting and why that's important, not just, grabbing the guy losing the most and then playing the guy that gained the most. Like, have a reason around approach, have a reason around green regulation mixed with some putting that's, poor, average or poor. So hopefully this helps a little bit. And I don't think I had anything else. I guess we could finish with a giveaway for somebody.
Yeah, Mike here. He's contributing a car for the giveaway.
Oh, nice, Mark or Mike. Thank you, man.
I thought it was sweet too.
I honestly think this should be some type of eBay. We give away this PGA Showdown lineup, and Mike gives us an MMA lineup. That's what I think. And then Horse Player gives us some horses that we can do a trifecta on. I mean,
it's an open community.
It is.
Give and take.
All right, let's hop that. Hopefully, if you're gonna play it, or at least gives you an idea for. Honestly, you don't hurt my feelings if you don't want to play it, but that's kind of where we leaned on. I'm definitely entering it, and let's hop to a giveaway, and then we'll get these guys out of here. Trading rake. That's exactly right.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. So for this one here, we'll spin the wheel. Hopefully, it's a T-shirt or a hat, I guess. T-shirt. This is gonna be easy. You want to take a guess of what it is?
I'm gonna guess that the word is showdown.
You got it. Showdown is the word, not derby, Mike. Come on.
So
Wrong stream.
Clever girl.
Burns. So type in showdown in the chat, and we'll spin it and see who wins the shirt. Nick, appreciate you hanging in there too, man. Good luck the rest of the weekend. And I think Euro just teed off a little bit ago.
Oh, how's your Euro lineup looking?
It's actually decent. I think I have 2 or 3 guys in the top 10. Everyone played decent, and then I have 1 guy outside the cut line right now. So if he can get in there, I'll feel good. I only built 1 lineup, I think, for Euro.
Nice.
So, all right, let's go ahead and spin it. Hopefully everyone put it in Showdown. If you haven't, do it now, or forever hold your peace. Here we go. Yeah, man. No, Mike, I appreciate it. Oh my God, what happened? Well, guess what I did?
What did you do?
I cleared the keyword before I rolled it. Let's try it one more time. This time it's Derby because I don't want you to type in Showdown again. Sorry guys, I messed it up. So type in Derby. My bad. Technically, Mike won, but I don't want him to know.
Ah. Comes out now, we see.
Dang, that sucks. When is the Kentucky Derby? Is it Saturday or Sunday?
I have no idea. I don't ever follow that.
I don't know.
Saturday?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, it's Saturday. Horse Player says Saturday. Mike, it should be. Honestly, we took a break because of the team event, so I have to check what the status of it is. Yeah, Cinco de Mayo is on Sunday. All right, guys, I'm going to roll it if you haven't already. Do it now. 2 seconds. 3, or 2, 1. I suck. Oh!
Look at that.
Nick Ferrone. I know how to get a hold of you. We don't have to exchange awkward DMs on Twitter. That's always fun.
Hey, man, you won the giveaway? Is that how the DMs go?
Technically, one guy was real polite. He was like, "Hey, I won the giveaway, but I know I can't prove it. Should I message you on Twitch because I have a different name on Twitch?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good idea." So, all right, we'll hop back here. We'll get you guys out of here. Yeah, don't work too hard. All right, guys, we'll be in Slack chat all night. Not all night. Jacob will be in there all night. I won't. But good luck in your showdowns. Good luck in Euro, PGA the rest of the week. Hopefully you have some lineups without Burns or JB Holmes. Jacob, man, I appreciate you hanging in there. You have any final thoughts? And we'll get you guys out of here.
No, I'm pretty stoked for it. You guys play Nick Watney. Don't listen to Drew.
So your stand is Nick Watney, and I'll say no.
I mean, I'm probably going to play him in like a $1. Not in a big single entry, but
well, you have to now. You stood on it, so.
All
right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll check you the next time we do a live stream. Maybe we do one again this weekend, depending on how this lineup goes tomorrow. Might be 1,000 airs. So good luck in your contest, and we'll see you later.